Anybody hear me in the back? Is on mic temporarily? Can you hear me back there? Anybody that can't hear me, raise your hand. Okay, great. We have a few empty seats down here. Some of your people want to come down here. There's some in the front row. There's two over here, two over here. Come on down, sit down. We've ordered more chairs, but might as well sit in the comfortable chairs as long as we have them. Sorry about the late start, but people kept coming in and kept coming in. They're still coming in. I'm Bill White, and Joyce and I are responsible for sponsoring Dr. Nasr up here. Glad to see this large crowd tonight. I don't know if it's due to the fact that it's on cancer or due to the fact that it's Dr. Nasr. Probably both. How many people here who have never heard Dr. Nasr before? Oh, great. That's a good crowd. That's great. Well, you're in for a treat, believe me you are. On the screen, I don't know how well you can see it, are dates and subjects of Dr. Nasr's previous talks. We have both videos and audio cassettes on all of those lectures, and if you'd like to order those or order tapes from tonight's lecture, there are forms available. Some of you picked them up on the way in. If not, we have them on the table on your way out. The video is $21. That includes tax and shipping, and the audio is $5.25, also including tax and shipping. So if you'd like to order them, fill out your forms or fill them out, drop them at the desk on your way out, leave your check with them, please. Make the checks out to TAPES, T-A-P-E-S. That makes it real simple. Okay, people have asked me, when is Dr. Nasr coming again? We don't know the exact date. It'll probably be early or mid-June. We will pick a date and we will let you know. Is there anybody here who is not on our mailing list but does have access to other people? In other words, you're upline, if you're in Shackley, that type of people. In other words, does everybody here have a way of finding out about this? Everybody does? Anybody that does not? Good. We have a sign-up list, and that list is getting so long. When you start to think that we're spending 29 cents to send out notification for you, plus the flyer, plus it's about 35 cents a piece, and when we get a couple of hundred people, that's $70. And you can see we don't have that many people here tonight that we did send out flyers to. So if you have a way of knowing about this and you are on our list and you get an individual notification, please let us know so we can take you off the list. In other words, if you find out about these lectures from somebody else, we'd rather that you depend on that line of information rather than have us send out individual flyers. We're trying to pull a Bill Clinton here and cut back on spending. Okay. I'm going to introduce my wife Joyce, who's going to introduce Dr. Nasr, and without further ado, Joyce.
Hi. You know what? Today is the first day of the rest of your life. And I hope because you took the time to come tonight that the rest of your life will be a lot happier and a lot healthier. Because you are going to learn things tonight that are so simple that if you follow what Dr. Nasr has to say, the changes that it's going to make. Dr. Nasr already had his PhD when he came here from Egypt. He did research at UCLA. He told his story very eloquently last time. He became an MD, and then became an internist and a cardiologist, and he's absolutely, the best doctor in the whole world. That's why I go to him. But also last time, remember I told you about that truck driver that had all of those tapes from the early 70s, 26 tapes, I think? And he listened to him from the Atlantic to the Pacific and Canada to the Gulf of Mexico. And guess what? He sent me one of those tapes. It was so old that instead of putting it in the tape copier, we put it, from one tape player to another one and ran it slowly. And when I listened to that tape, if you could get through the accent, he gave as much tremendous information then as he did now. And since he probably doesn't have
Thank you. Wow, this is 1970. Well, I'm not going to go through the same story again. I did then on the tapes. Even most of the people here I know for many years. The reason I'm interested to lecture on preventive medicine, is because I have witnessed results to see how nutrition and how prevention can work to prevent disease, and how also how nutrition works to cure incurable diseases. And the big problem we have in modern society, can you hear me in the back? You can't hear? We don't have a microphone here, do we? Okay. All right. Did we used to have a microphone in the room? I forgot. We did before or not. We did. Oh, this one right here? Let me see. I don't know. Well, I just have to speak louder, that's all. Can you hear me now? You can? Can you hear me, gentlemen? Look at me like I'm not. You can hear. I'm here. Okay. Well, nothing is perfect. One time I go some places. I went to one time to Iowa to give a lecture. They didn't have no overhead projector. They have no screen. They have nothing to write with. They have no chalkboard, nothing. And we did a lecture that day using pieces of papers like this, and I was writing on, to try to explain. And we had a wonderful time. I drove for 5 hours to go there, 5 hours back. So you have to be patient with us if the sound is not perfect. It's not that important. Well, the lecture tonight is about cancer. And every 3 months, we select a lecture to speak about. This is the 6th year, probably anniversary, 6th-year anniversary. We've been given those series of lectures go on. It's the only series in the whole country continuing like that. I had some in California. I have some going on in Spanish. I have going on in different languages, but it's not as much detail as this series right here, because my office is only hour and 15 minutes from here, and it's easy for me just to get out and come here and give a lecture and go back. Where Saturday, for example, this coming, I have to go to Memphis to give a lecture. I have to take 2 days off. I have to get a doctor to take my place for 2 days. It just becomes, I hate to do it. I do it, but I don't want to. So this is the only series that it covers nutrition and disease very thoroughly. You should select some of the topics you saw, and you should borrow it from your friends if they have a video or they have a tape, or buy it, whatever you want to do. Just learn something about it. Tonight's lecture about cancer. The reason we selected these lectures about cancer, because cancer is spreading very rapidly in our society. And there is so many people developing cancer. And there is so many people dying from cancer. And the number is not going down. The number is going up. And when cancer hits, it doesn't differentiate between young and old, or rich and poor, or black and white, or man or woman. When it hits a child with leukemia, it's just as bad in his life as hit an older person with adenocarcinoma of the colon. It just has the same devastating effect on the whole family. You understand? And I have not had a patient, since I practiced preventive medicine in Lake Villa for the last 14 years, I have not had a patient who developed cancer and died from it. Yet. All that time, none. There are some developed cancer, but nobody developed it and died from it, of the people who have followed the directions how to prevent it. The reason behind it is because our medical community, for 13 years I've been lecturing, and I said we are missing the main point about our health. We concentrating research on surgeries. We concentrate research on chemotherapies. We concentrate research on drugs, but we do not have research on nutrition and prevention. We don't. Until today, we don't. It seems like a big sin that any doctor who say to his patient, pay attention to your food, his colleagues look at him as quack. His colleagues look at him as a person who says something very wrong. This is in the old days even, it used to be worse than that. If you say something about nutrition, your license gets suspended as a doctor. Some doctors get kicked out of the country completely. When they say, Dr. Schutz, when he said about vitamin E, he had to leave the United States and go to Canada when he discovered vitamin E, because he was called names and quacks, and there's an investigation, all kind of a problem. When I came in 1971 to lecture in Richland Center, Wisconsin, 1971, my language was not very good. I was talking to the people that we have a problem in our society here. I was a new American, but I was trying to do my job. I saw something wrong. I saw chemicals in the air, in the water, in the food. I saw diet is so bad. Then I started to speak out. In that day, I was arrested by saying that the food we eat has things to be harmful to us. But that arrest, I was laughing through the whole thing. The guy was sitting with me, talking, and said, oh, you know what you told the people. What did I say? And I was joking. I said, what did I say wrong? He said, oh, you tell them fat is bad for them. I said, it is. He said, no, we have proved that you are misleading the public. I said, I don't care what you say. Look at you. I turned to him. Look at you. You are arguing with me about nutrition, and look at your hand full of cancer. That day, his hand had cancer in it, and I can see it when I'm sitting. Look at you. You know, there is nothing you can do. I told him. He said, you have to show in court tomorrow. I said, no, I'm not going to. I'm leaving because I have a lecture in Pennsylvania to give. He said, you'll be arrested. I said, that's just fine, because I just leave America and go back to Egypt if I have to. I don't care, because listen to every one of you. You have to have a belief in yourself, what you're doing in life. You've got to establish to yourself that what you're doing is right, and once you have that, don't violate it. You have a principle, stick with it. You understand? Because we have many things happen in our society and young people that certain principles keep violating and breaking because it's not right, it's not cool to them anymore. All the things, they have to drink Coke, they have to eat this, they have to do that, they have to have sex all the time, they have to take drugs, they have to smoke, because they do not have established principle to stick with, to be sure that if they're doing it, nobody's going to beat them. They don't know what they're doing. So that is what happened also that day when I was laughing with the guy. I said, I'm not going to stay. I was serious about it. I was not kidding. I was determined. I take my passport and just go and leave the country. Because I'm not going to stay in a place that I cannot tell another human the truth about their health. Medicine and science is a gift from God to us. Science is a gift from God to us to study, analyze, and enjoy. And if we violate that and keep lying about it, then we are cheating ourselves. You follow me? It is an excellent idea to have science, but we have to have the science serve us, not we are serving the science. What's this got to do with cancer? Well, when you look around you, you're going to find somebody you knew who developed cancer. Everyone here, you must have known somebody who have developed cancer, right or wrong. If you don't know, then you're lucky, because every one of us knew somebody who had cancer. And the word cancer itself, once it hits you, it has a shocking effect on your body. Once you hear the word cancer, immediately we think about death, dying. Right? That's what we think. Cancer means that, which it isn't. Cancer is a curable disease, and very, very curable disease if we catch it early and we do something about it. Cancer will never be defeated alone by chemotherapy and surgery. It's never going to be defeated alone by that, leaving nutrition and cleaning the environment behind. If we look at cancer, we find out from the year 1900 to now, the number of people developing cancer on the rise. 1992, last year, 500,000 people died from cancer. 500,000. About 3 million developed cancer. That's in 1 year. Add every year behind 30 years, you have 30 million, 40 million, 50 million. Are you following me or not? So this is just one single year. Not everyone develops cancer die from cancer. That's true. Because people start paying attention how to prevent it, how to catch it early, what to do about it. The number of people who are dying from cancer have gone down just a little bit because this procedure, people start looking closer to their body and finding cancer before it invades every part. What is cancer? Cancer itself starts in the body in one single cell. One cell becomes 2 cells, becomes 4, and becomes 8, and then the number keeps increasing. That is what cancer. Cancer, there are 2 types, benign and malignant. Let's forget about benign, means it's not bad. Cancer is not a cancer. When you see tags on your skin, they're not cancer. They just cells have grown, but it is not malignant. Malignant means those cells, each one of those, it will travel inside the body and multiply to other cells by itself. We call that what? Metastasis of cancer, or spreading of cancer. We want to catch cancer in that stage right here, before it goes to the stage right here. What makes a cell become cancerous? What makes a cell become a cancer cell? You have to understand that a human cell, good cell, and a cancer cell, they look alike. If you take both cells and analyze them, they look very similar. As a matter of fact, there are some of your body cells looks like cancer cells all the time, like the bone marrow cells. They have cancer cells all the time because they multiply all the time. When we look at a human cell, like an egg comes out from a woman, or one single cell, a sperm, comes from a man, join each other and make one cell called the fetus, the baby. And that baby multiplies to 2 and 3 and grow bigger and bigger and bigger and becomes a sheet of paper. And the baby becomes a sheet of cells like this. That's the first thing the baby does, becomes like a sheet, exactly. That sheet, which is a baby, growing in every direction. Are you following me or not? Because it runs out of space, it starts swirling around itself and makes 2 cubes around itself like this, and 2 higher cubes like that. The upper one will develop to the brain and the vertebral column, and the second one tube develop to the mouth and the rectum in the back. And from that, buds comes out, the legs and the arms and organs. The process is making a baby. It's a cancer process. You follow me? It is a cancer process. It's a cell multiplying and looking for food. So that's what cancer is. Cells multiplying, aggressive, and looking for food. So don't look at cancer as something scary. Don't be scared from cancer when you have it. Don't be scared if you develop it. You know you're going to develop it one day, and you're going to cure it when you develop it. You follow me or not? It is part of our life. Everybody, even the baby is a cancer. When that baby becomes bigger inside his mother, and then we have a pregnant mother right here. This is not supposed to be like that. And the baby like that, the baby will have the head, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the stomach, the legs, and the placenta all developed inside his mother. He's no longer grow. He stays in one size to come out from her. Once that baby comes out of his mother, this size right here, he starts growing bigger and bigger until he becomes adult at the age of 18 years of age. So, even after he's born, he's growing this way, this way, this way, and some of us this way more, and then this way, and some of us grow this way more also. And anyway, this is a cancer process. I went through it so fast because we don't have time to study embryology now, but to show you how one single cell becomes so many, becomes a person that grow like that, all of that. Then all of a sudden something happened. What? Stop growing. Everything stopped growing. The nose doesn't grow anymore. The ears doesn't grow anymore. The lips doesn't grow anymore. The hand doesn't grow anymore. Right? The skin doesn't grow anymore. It's the same skin. Until you cut yourself with a knife, you lose some tissue, all of a sudden, start multiplying again, close the hole, and then stops again. Are you following me or no? See, so there is a code God put inside the cell. When to multiply, when to stop. And that code that makes a cell multiply and stop is what's being violated and destroyed and causes cancer. That is what causes cancer. To make it easy for you to understand, let us take one single cell and show you what it looks like. A cell looks like this. In any cell, could be a cell in your breast, could be a cell in your prostate, could be a cell in your colon, could be a cell in your skin, in your lung, wherever. It's a cell. The cell has inside it what? A nucleus. The nucleus surrounded by a membrane. And the cell surrounded by a membrane. You know what's a membrane? It's something to keep the cell intact. This is the cell that causes cancer. This is the normal cell that becomes cancer later on. How a cell becomes cancer? Inside the cell right here, there is something made of protein called nucleic acid. Chromosomes. Have you heard about chromosomes, everyone? Those chromosomes have protein on it. Has proteins on it. And pay attention to that because we are right now in computer age. We have reached so much advanced science that if you know about computers, you're going to appreciate the human cell more than a computer. You follow me? There's more miracles you see right now than you see in all computers. This is what happened. These 4 amino acids, they're different kinds. They are the ones who determine everything in your life. For example, if you need some enzyme, they will make it. If you need certain hormones, they will make it. If you need blood, they will make it. If you need anything, they will make it for us. If, when you're sitting right here, one of us have AIDS virus, and the AIDS came out of his mouth in the air, and we breathe it, all of a sudden it's destroyed inside our body, and we did not develop AIDS virus, AIDS disease. You follow me? So we are well protected. We are well built to fight. These are the things that they make antibodies and antigen and defense and all of that. These 4 amino acids, A, B, C, and D, actually they don't have this name. They have guanine, adenine, flavine, and cytine. They have a different name, but let's call them A, B, C, and D. The combination between them will produce many probabilities. Many things comes out of those. When A replaces B, B replaces A, D goes replaces C, they produce many probabilities. How many probabilities you can come out, some of you mathematicians right here, how many probabilities you come out from four things? How many you can come out with? Certain number, right? That number is not a billion, isn't it? You cannot come with a billion probabilities out of 4, right? In the human body, over 1,000 trillion probabilities comes out of 4 number combination. If you have a lock, 4 digits, 4 number, you always can figure a way to open it because you reach it. This is have 1,000 trillion probabilities out of 4. How can you understand that? Physicists until now cannot understand how this works. And that's called the secret of life. That will never be unlocked. Never gonna be unlocked. These things right here, surrounded because they are so sensitive to radiation. If we take the cell and bombard it with radiation from outside, this radiation can alter the code, and we produce cancer. Are you following me? If we have a chemical, ingested a chemical, certain chemical, like PCB or asbestos or something all the time, asbestos every day for a while, eventually the asbestos will affect the code and produce cancer. If we have ultraviolet radiation hitting the skin all the time, eventually it's going to produce a problem with the code. If we have chemical in our diet all the time, eventually it's going to alter the code of the stomach, and we have what? Cancer of the colon. Are you following me? Okay, so it is so simple. The problem, the reason this cell starts multiplying, something happened to it. Tonight, we speak about nutrition. So we have to talk about nutrition. How does nutrition fit this thing here? 25 years ago, when I lectured in the United States, and I said, I think there are things in our food protect us against chemicals. I think there are things in our food protect us against cancer. And I think there are things in our food protect us against disease. I was in Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles that night when I was lecturing. Among this group of scientists, everyone started laughing. I said, what are you laughing about? I mean, I was invited, it's a big round table, and I have a name tag, and there must be something. Somebody thought that I must have some knowledge to invite me to that meeting. But I was the least qualified among all. I was not the MD that day. I was not the internist. I was not this. I was not that. I was just a guy who they felt sorry for to invite him to sit around among them. Then I spoke about this. I said, we have things in food. We have to study and eat and use for healing. And they start laughing. They didn't know my background in Egypt, that I have done tremendous research on nutrition over there before I came to this country. So these things right here, surrounded by a membrane, and when we analyze the membrane, we find vitamin E in it, and vitamin A in it, and vitamin C in it, and mostly vitamin E. Why an anti-free radical vitamin exists around the nucleus? Lots of you heard me before, right? And you know what anti-free radical means. What is anti-free radical? Are the vitamins that fight what? Poisons and chemicals and stuff like that. That's a vitamin E and vitamin C and vitamin B and all of those called anti-chemicals, anti-radiation, anti-poison, right? Those, why does the vitamin do in that? And then I asked that question that day. They said, we don't know. It just happened by mistake. I said, all right, happened by mistake. They said, yeah, you don't understand. We are a product of Darwinism, means we were monkeys and we were aggressive, and things can happen in us we don't know by mistake. I said, that's nice. You know, I come here from a backward country like Egypt that all we have are the pyramids, and come here to a country that have TVs that day, and they telling me everything was mistake. I better go back to Egypt again then, you know. Because in ancient Egypt, which I studied ancient civilization, I actually, Cairo University was next to the Great Pyramid. My apartment is across from the pyramid. So when you look at this every day as a child, you appreciate other people before you. You follow me? You don't look down at them. When we enter the pyramid and see the mummy and see the work of them or something, we appreciate that not everything they have done was wrong. Something they done was good. And that's what we look at nature. Not everything we see is wrong. Something is good and we have to appreciate. They say it is wrong. And then we found there is also life inside the cell, right? The cell has life in it. Everything in it. The mitochondria, the ATP, the RNA, the enzymes, everything is inside here. Inside this. Surrounded by also vitamin E. So my question again, why do we have vitamin E there? And the answer was, by mistake. Let me go further than that. Let's bring this baby inside his mother again. When we analyze the placenta, here's the mother blood. Here's the baby blood, right? The mother gives the baby blood, correct? The mother could be alcoholic. She could be smoking. She could be taking drugs, correct? It's not the fault of the baby. So what happened? We find lots of vitamin E here, and vitamin C, and beta-carotene here. And we ask this question, why is it there? They said, by mistake. If you read the book, embryology book, taught in medical school by Boyd and Hamilton, that is a big embryology, it tells you, vitamin E found in the placenta, it serves no purpose, it just happened to be there. Okay, that is what I was taught as a doctor, as an MD. Fortunately, when I became an MD, I already finished my PhD. And I knew this is not true. But I couldn't say that to my teacher. I said, okay, if you say so, I write it until I get my license. The baby swims in water, right? Is it water or air? Water, hopefully. That water, when we analyze it, we find lots of antioxidants. What is there? It's again by mistake. It is not by mistake. Because that mother here, surrounded to radiation from outside, from the sun all the time, right? She can lay down and the sun hits her stomach and there's ultraviolet, there is ozone, there is all of that, and this stuff will destroy it before it gets to the baby. And if she drinks alcohol or takes chemicals, those things will destroy lots of it before it goes to the baby. And if it goes inside the baby will have vitamin, antioxidants surrounding his cell to protect the inside, and more to protect the chromosomes. You follow me? The walls. It takes so much to damage a human being. It takes so much to kill a human being. We only die from cancer because two things went wrong. One, either the person neglected himself to find it early enough, or the doctor did not pay attention to his patient and did the right thing. Because most of it can be treated and cured in early stages. Now, we have talked here about the role of vitamin E to protect from the outside. But let us study the human cell for a minute and find out how also we are protected. If you look at the cell, you find it swimming in blood around it. The cell, to produce life, it needs what? It needs food, nutrients. Those nutrients are what? The protein and the carbohydrate and the fat and the vitamins, water, minerals, and oxygen. Plus this, there are hormones, male hormones or female hormones, to help the cell assimilate. You know how it feels when you, just about a week before the period, how crummy would you feel? Because when the progesterone hormone goes down, the amount of energy in the cell goes down. Then there is some degree of depression or PMS or fatigue. Do you know how it feels when the insulin as a hormone goes down? The sugar goes up and you have diabetes and you feel crummy. You know when the sugar goes down, you have hypoglycemia and you don't feel good. And when the hormones go down, the food does not get assimilated. Because the hormones are what pushes the food inside the cell. When the food enters the cell, it gets assimilated, produces what? Energy, enzymes, new hormones, and protein, whatever the body needs, it depends on what cell we're talking about here now. Plus waste. The waste is being produced is very dangerous. That waste is like urine. Like when you drink fluids, you make urine. And then when you smell the urine, it doesn't smell like the water you drank before. Because it has waste in it. Right? You eat the food, it looks so good. But when we go to the bathroom, it smells bad. Because it has waste in it. The cell, when it takes food, it produces waste inside it. So the waste you smell in the stool and the urine is actually from inside the cell. You follow me or no? That's from inside the cell that's coming out of the body. Is that waste good or bad? It's very bad. This waste we identified the name of it as oxidant material or free radicals. If anybody here doesn't know what a free radical is, if you don't, I will explain. If you do, I move ahead. A free radical is a poison that, when it touches anything alive, it destroys it. That's a free radical. So you can call ultraviolet as a free radical. You can call cyanide as a free radical. You can call antibiotics, that how they kill the bacteria. They are free radicals. This is why antibiotics are not good for us. But we need them. If the germ is going to kill us, then we need the antibiotics. But we can live on antibiotics because they are poison. So free radicals are the poison. This inside the cell of the body. Immediately, the vitamin E right here in the membrane will take the oxygen material and put it in the blood and clean the cell from inside. And the vitamin C and the B inside will help to neutralize it before it destroys any hormones or enzymes. And before it comes out. And once it comes out in the blood, here comes the vitamin C, looks like this, and grabs it with his hand and runs with it to the kidney and go out, or the stool and go out, or the liver and go out with it. You understand? This is how the body works, how God made it. So simple. So simple. Complicated, but very simple function. There is not too many things can go wrong with it. It's, you give food, you have anti-chemicals, you have something to clean the waste, and we live. What happens if a person among us have a problem with the anti-free radical vitamins? Anti-free radical. What are the anti-free radicals? What are they? The vitamin C, the vitamin E, the vitamin B, even oil. Even cooking oil. The regular oil you cook with is an anti-free radical. So it is very important when we talk about what food to eat, what food not to eat in the end of the lecture, to listen to what I'm going to say about oil, how oil can fight cancer. And we're going to come to that in the end of the lecture. But right here I want to show you something that you can argue with your doctor. You can argue with your scientists. You can argue with the smart people. They think they know everything. Because this is science. And the moment you close your eyes and ears on science and you don't want to hear it, you are blind. Because science is here to stay. And science told us there are free radicals, and they are anti-free radicals in the cell. So what happens if that person who is eating food has his steak, has protein, has carbohydrates, has the fat, has water, has mineral oxygen, but he does not have enough vitamin E and C and B? What happened to him then? He will have accumulation of what? He have accumulation of what? Free radicals inside where? Inside the cell. Can those free radicals affect, as a poison, the code inside the cell? They can. They can alter the code. I don't want you to be closed-minded and say, I came here only to listen to a cancer lecture. Actually, if we alter the code and causes cancer, this is the same code protects you against allergy. Right? What protects you against allergy? What protects us against allergy? Is the little antibodies, little things inside, they destroy chemicals. We call them antibodies. They're produced by the same code. You heard about lupus. And about, I think last lecture was about immune disease or the one before that. I don't remember which one. When autoimmune disease. We give two lectures ago. When we talked about autoimmune disease, we talked about the same thing. What happened? The cell that produces antibodies against germs, against virus, against chemicals, it's turning against its own cells and killing its own cells. And we call this autoimmune disease, like lupus, multiple sclerosis, and all of these things. So a person who has allergies and autoimmune diseases and lupus and all of this stuff is more candidate to have cancer than a person who does not. You follow me? Because there is a defect in the communication inside for a reason. So the person who has deficiency of that vitamins can develop cancer. But let us assume you do not have deficiency of any vitamins. You have vitamins. You have vitamin E, you have vitamin B, you have it, but you don't have enough. And then you move from Milwaukee, from this area, which this is not the best area to move from, to go to another area, because we do have, Los Angeles have a smog. They have a smog there. And let us assume you move from here to there. And you are exposed to so much chemicals in the air that causes cancer. And you don't have enough vitamin E. And here comes the blood full of what? Full of chemicals. And they're going to go inside where? They're inside the cell. Who's going to get rid of them? Who's supposed to get rid of them? That's right, the vitamins. But you don't have you didn't take extra vitamins. Because you thought what you taken in Milwaukee is good in Los Angeles. And it wasn't. Then you start having problems. And let us assume you moved from some other state, Minnesota or something, or I came here to Milwaukee area. We have glacials here. We have rocks. We have internal gases. We have radon gas coming from the ground, and we have radioactive uranium and other things in our water here. Prehistoric, since the Earth was created. We have it in this area here. This radiation comes out, bombarding everybody who lives in this area. But not everybody develops cancer. Why? Because the people were eating certain things, protecting them for all these years against cancer. You follow me? But when the diet changes, now we see more cancers in this area, different cancers in Ohio area, different cancer in Arizona, different cancer in California. It depends on which organ of the body is being bombarded, the lung or the colon or the ear or here. You understand what I'm talking about? For example, when we did the white sand in World War II, when we had the nuclear bomb developed, and the experimentation was done in Nevada. And the way it works like this, when they found out that, actually we can have one metal God made that is nice. We can make it radioactive. We can bombard it with neutron and make it radioactive. And they find out the new things they have, plutonium, it has radiation in it that can kill people. They got so excited about it. As a matter of fact, they got so excited they didn't know how dangerous it is, so they invited the President of the United States to watch what marvel they have discovered. So the guy was showing the President this experiment in the University of Chicago right here. He got a tube, and he had a ball of uranium. And he said, look, when we make it go through the ring, look at the sparks over there. He's holding in his hand. Look at all the sparks. Look at that stuff can kill human beings. Well, he was doing it, and he was playing. The ball keep expanding, until it got stuck and blew up. And that's the day we had the accident in the laboratory, and they knew that the scientists died, but they knew they got something to kill the Japanese or the Germans or whoever. But you know something about us as a human race. We are created equal, and we're not supposed to kill each other regardless of race, on sex, or religion. We're supposed to, because we know we're all going to die. We're going to meet who created us. And what we're going to say? Well, I didn't like my neighbor because he's a Jewish, I had to burn him. Or I didn't like my neighbor because he's a Protestant, I'm a Catholic, I have to burn him. You can't. How can you justify that, to yourself in front of your God? No, you're actually wrong. Because we're supposed to enjoy life, produce something good, help each other. Of course, you have to protect yourself. If somebody came to rape or you got to kill him. He deserves it. But not to go and be aggressive and study our history about American Indians. And I know lots of my friends who are for killing all the Indians, Americans. I sat with them, I said they deserve it. And they don't deserve anything they got now. I met people say that. But you know what? They're still my friends. But they are my sick friends. I tell them, I just feel sorry for you. I still love you the same way. But you are sick. Because the day you're going to get old yourself and you're going to have disease, your idea is going to change. And they did. They got older. My friend now is about 77. And now I ask him the same question like I asked 25 years ago. What do you think about the Indians? Oh, they're nice people. Because they see cancer in their body and they see they're close to death. They know how valuable human life is to others. You follow me? So that is our mission in life, is peace and love each other and care about each other and go out of the way and give and help each other. This person here then, if he does not take extra vitamin E, he will have so much what in his cell? Tell me. Free radicals. Then he's going to develop disease. What does cause cancer of the lung? Smoking, right? What's in the cigarette causes cancer of the lung? No, it's not the tar, it's not the nicotine. It's not carbon monoxide. Actually, let me tell you something. If you just take a piece of paper, just regular paper, not nicotine, and smoke it, you still have the same cancer of the lung as cigarettes. Exactly. Because the chemical produced by smoking, burning a furnace in a cigarette and inhaling it, you have all the radon gas going inside your lung. That is what causes the cancer of the lung. The radiation, the alpha particles that they go inside that cause that. So it is not the nicotine, it's not the tar, it's just the burning. So what should we do? Should we go and chew it? Well, the people who chew it, they have cancer of the tongue, not cancer of the lung. So it's a chemical. So people who smoke have this. Go inside, they have cancer. So they need more of vitamin E and B and C. So the reason we have cancers is because the body protective mechanism has failed. And some of you here, especially men, most of men think they are not, they cannot, nothing can touch them. Most of them think they cannot develop cancer. They're not going to develop. Nothing's going to make them weaker. And I've seen it. I've seen a big man, very healthy, in 6 months, dying from cancer. And his ideas was the football player Alzado, when he was so big, he didn't care about anybody. He had the muscles, got the money, got everything he wants. A little cancer cell started in the brain. See? So the most valuable thing you got in your life is your health. Protect it and guard it very, very much. And don't let it slip by with time, because it might not come back again. This cancer can develop in many parts of the body. Just let me see if I'm following my lecture or not. Yeah, I'm doing good. Okay. Okay. The cancer then can develop in any area that has what? Exposed to what? Too much what? too much chemicals or radiation from outside. Like what? Here is a person. That person has skin. And that skin made of cells. Bombarding the cells with radiation, laying in the sun, so you want to get a tan. Why do you want to get a tan? I have no idea why you want to get a tan. Why a person is light, want to be dark. Why a person is dark like me when I was a teenager, I want to be light. Why we're not satisfied with ourselves? It's because we have some problems. We're not happy or something. You have to do something to please somebody else. And usually the opposite sex. You want to be dark so you look sexy. You want to be light. Everybody does that. But in the process, you lay in the sun, and then you get bombarded, and you have cancer of the skin develop. Cancer of the skin is not dangerous cancer unless it's dark. There are two kinds of cancer of the skin: the light and the dark. The light is basal cell carcinoma, and that is not that bad. If you have it, usually you have it in the head, usually in your face. And usually it's a spot that's shining. One single spot that's shiny or pimply like that. And sometimes it bleeds when you scratch it. And that is not a bad cancer. But if you let it grow more, in 3 or 4 years, it can go inside the brain or the eye and grow inside and damage the body. You follow me? So it shouldn't be there, should be taken out. The dark ones, if you're born with it even, lots of people, I tell them, this thing you have, he said, I had it all my life. Yeah, that's right. If you are born with a dark lesion or any lesion in your skin that gets darker with age, have it checked. It could be developed into cancer called melanoma. Melanoma is a killer. Melanoma is the most dangerous cancer in the human body because it's a little black spot. That's all you see. But inside the blood is growing all over the body and destroying the brain and liver and every place else. And it's so easy. When you have them, you cut them off. And if they are cancer, then we have to take what we call precautions against skin cancer. The precaution against skin cancer right here, plus beside the nutrients we're going to be talking about in the end of the lecture, it is to protect yourself from the sun, radiation, and use vitamin E oil on your skin if you wish to lay in the sun, much better than the sunblock they sell. Or use retin-A, that is the vitamin A cream you can put in the skin to protect against skin cancer. Cancer can occur also in other organs. What other organs can you think with me inside this person can have lots of chemicals that it can develop cancer? Liver. Okay, you're talking about the digestive system. Okay, the digestive system starts with your mouth, down to your esophagus, to the stomach, to the colon, and the liver and the pancreas part of it. You said that is exposed to chemicals, right? You're right about that, but let us see how. You eat food, and the food has chemicals. One of the most dangerous things you can put inside your mouth is tobacco, chewing tobacco, because it's a pure nicotine, it's pure chemical that irritates the mouth and causes cancer of the tongue. The second thing dangerous you can put inside your mouth is alcohol. Alcohol destroys the enzymes inside the salivary glands inside the mouth, it can lead to cancer of the mouth or the esophagus or the stomach or the liver. You follow me? Every place it goes, it kills in front of it. And I want to ask you, lots of you don't smoke, correct? Because you think if you have one cigarette, you hurt your body, correct? Why then, when somebody offers you drink, you drink it, and you're not drinking every day, but you take that drink, but you don't take the cigarette? Why then, when somebody offers you cocaine, you don't touch it, but offer you a drink, New Year's night, champagne, and you drink it that night? Why? Why New Year's night has to be the time, the beginning of a cancer? Why? You follow me? Your health is the most valuable thing. Everything goes in, it has to be analyzed in your head. Is this what I want to do or not? Because many times you drink an alcohol with a habit, just socially, because everybody's doing it. No, you don't want to be like everybody. The regular food we eat, it has chemicals. Actually, I found that there are three things, major things, can cause cancer. I'm going to make a summary to what we talked about before. Number one, anti-free radical vitamin deficiency. Like what? The E, the C, and the B. You follow me there? Number two, trace mineral deficiency. Because we know trace minerals are the one who makes the nucleus works. And trace minerals like zinc, magnesium, manganese, cobalt, molybdenum, strontium, all of those very important for enzyme functions. Number three, deficiency, protein deficiency. Certain proteins, if your source of protein is pork, you're not going to be as healthy as if your source of protein, vegetables or fish. 4, oil. If you replace the oil with fat, you run risk of developing cancer or developing a problem that leads to cancer. Number 5, water. If you're not drinking enough water, you're not washing the chemicals out of the body easy, so you can develop cancer. I said water. I didn't say beer. I didn't say Coke. I didn't say Pepsi. I said water. You understand that? Okay, we don't have to argue about the Coke is not water. Pepsi is not water. Beer is not water. Coffee is not water. Water is water. Juice is not water. Apple juice is not water. You understand? So when you want to drink water, it's supposed to be water. If you want to drink juice, it's not water. It's something else. And then, number 6, fibers. Number 7 that you need to have that is good for the body is carbohydrates to give you energy, not sugars. We will go over all of this in details later on. This problem here can lead to cancer. Number 2, cause of cancer, stress can lead to cancer. Stress. Being under stress can lead to cancer. This, number 1 here, is being denied by most of oncology cancer specialists. There is nothing in the diet deficiency can cause cancer. That's what they say, and I know they're wrong. One day they realize that. The second thing they're still saying, stress does not cause cancer. And I say also they are wrong. Because the scientific reports now coming that deficiency of nutrients can cause cancer and also stress can cause cancer. Number 3 are toxins or chemicals cause cancer. Internal or external. External from what? From the air, water, or food. Air pollution, water pollution, and food pollution. The chemicals in the air, if we study our air in the United States, we study the air, and you know what goes in the air, correct? You know what goes in the air every day all over the world, here, every place. People are burning all kinds of chemicals, manufactured, just releasing everything in the air, and saying, well, it's just going to dissipate into space. It's going to go to the sun. It's going to go to the moon. They didn't realize that stays with us. It doesn't go anyplace else. And air pollution, the amount of chemical released in the air is still going up in the United States and the world. Still going up. From cars, from everything, still going up. And the rise of chemicals in the air can cause rise to cancer in our society. Correct? Now, let's talk about food. The number of chemicals in our food is going up. It's not going down. And the number of chemicals in our food that cause cancer is going up. It can cause also rise in cancer. With the air together can become a problem. The amount of chemicals in our water, airways like Michigan and many other lakes and rivers is by the tons of chemicals being dumped in the water, being dumped in pits. They dig a big hole, put everything in it, cover it, just like a blind man. He doesn't, as long as they don't see it, they don't think about it. Just like an ostrich, they say, once they cover it, it's fine. No, it's not fine. Seeping in the ground and going in the underground water to the lakes, to the river, and we drink it. Right or wrong? We're not attacking anybody. We're not attacking any specific company. We are saying this is our planet. We're going to protect it. Because when it's gone, they're causing it, we're going to go with it. And that we're not going to let them do that. So they need to be fought about it. They argue all the time. If we stop putting the chemicals, you don't have a job. Well, you could have a job, and you have cancer, you spend all your money to the doctor, you got nothing in the end. You follow me? What is the job with cancer in the end? What is it? So this is the chemical that causes cancer. Stress is also on the rise. And stress also causes cancer. So let us bring that person back right here and we'll talk about his food. This person eating hamburgers and cheeseburgers and eating fast food, like all of us, because he's busy. He's going from place to place, from school to school, running all day. What he's going to do when he leaves the home at 6 o'clock in the morning, comes home at 6 o'clock at night, not going to eat? He's going to have to eat. Go to a restaurant, it costs $20 a meal? No. He's going to go to a fast food place. So you like it or not, that's a fact of life. Correct? You tell your kids all you want to say about fast food, they're still going to go it. Because it's cheaper than a restaurant, and it's fast. These foods have chemicals in it. And the chemicals, when it goes in the intestine right here, the bowels, that is, it loops like this inside, it sits for 24 hours in the colon, correct? Or some of it might be absorbed and goes to the pancreas, right here, next door to it, like alcohol. Or some of it might go to the liver, next door right here, so the liver can detoxify. By sitting in the colon, will irritate the colon wall, will create what? Polyps. Polyps can lead to cancer. So you're right, digestive system, as you said, it is a source of problem. How can we cut down on the digestive system cancer then? Then we go back to the same triangle again. How to prevent it? We need lots of anti-free radical what? Vitamins. We need trace minerals. We need the right kind of protein. We need the right kind of oil. Oil, talking about oil with food, with oil and food prevent cancer? Let us talk about that then. Can oil with the meal prevent cancer? Let us say you eat a hamburger with chemicals in it, or you drank something has chemicals in it, but you had a salad and you had olive oil on it, or you had some kind of oil on the salad. What is oil? What is oil made of? Oil. To understand the oil, let me give you an example on vitamin E. Vitamin E, we called it anti-what? Antioxidant or anti-free radical. Why? Because vitamin E has hands, open hands, like this. When it sees a chemical, what does it do to it? It grabs it. Correct? That's how it works. So the more hands we have, the more protection we have. Correct? That is right. This is why when you look at a piece of bread you eat, versus sugar, you find a piece of bread looks like this and full of hands. So a piece of bread is anti-free radicals. You understand? The bread, the flour, the French fries, the potatoes, the pizza, all the flour is anti-poison. This has nothing to do with oil. I'm just preparing you for how much protection you could have if you eat right. I said carbohydrates as a source of energy, good for us, not sugar. You follow me? Not sugar. I said carbohydrates. As a matter of fact, carbohydrates, the bread, loves chemicals so much. Loves chemicals so much. Loves it means to get rid of it. So much that if you eat it, you eat some poison and you eat some bread, it can neutralize the chemical in the stomach. The same thing with protein. If you have poison and drink some milk, it can neutralize the chemical in the stomach. And if you have a poison and you have some oil, it will neutralize the chemicals in the stomach. So the three major foods, protein, carbohydrate, and fat, they are anti-free radicals. And I was surprised that when we had the Exxon oil in Alaska disaster a few years ago, and all these millions of gallons of oil floating on the water, if the scientists in Exxon have used their brain, which they didn't, they would have got some carbohydrates and put it on the ocean water and will absorb the oil. You don't have to put flour, but you can put cellulose, sawdust, which is carbohydrate. And it doesn't dissolve like flour. You understand? You can put some poison oil from gasoline in your car on the garage floor, and you can put some bran on it or sawdust. What happens to it? It sucks it. It absorbs it. So that is called anti-free radicals. So that is, it takes it away. So if they would have done all the sawdust, which we have plenty of it in Oregon, in the mill, the wood loves oil. Paper loves oil. This is wood, right? You put some on your shirt. If you have a cotton shirt and you put oil on it, you know how much trouble you have to get it out? Or paper, put some oil in this paper, try to get it out. You know, you can't get it out, right? Because this is the way God made nature. One thing destroys another, neutralizes each other. And that is what carbohydrate does. This is what protein. Now we go to the oil. Oil looks like this. The 3 fatty acids, and it has all kinds of hands in it. That's oil. When you take oil, it will go in your stomach, the oil, and will grab poison out of the system. I mean, not out of the system, out of the intestine. There is no food you can eat will take chemicals out of the body through the intestine. Should I repeat that? There is no food you can eat. It will take chemicals out of your liver through your bowels. What? Nothing, not even oil. I'm saying that because there are some people think if they have a poison in their liver, they can have clonics or wash their intestines, take the poison out of the body. It doesn't work. Poison do not leave the brain and the skin and the liver through the intestine. Intestine is only one way, from inside to the body, and never the other way. You cannot detoxify your body through your liver, like you go ahead and drink all this alcohol and say, okay, I'm going to eat fibers to detoxify the liver. And somebody told me, if you drink this and you drink that, you drink this formula, will detoxify the liver. There is nothing you can eat can detoxify the liver through the intestine. Only the anti-free radical can do that. Only vitamin E and CMB and beta-carotene can do that. Nothing else can do that. You follow me? So don't dream if you have a problem in your liver that by eating or having enemas that's going to come out. It's not going to work. So if you have the oil, will do that. So oil have affinity to chemicals. And when you take oil, it will detoxify the food. Right here. Now, this is oil, but after it got oxidized already, it's no longer antioxidant, and that's a poison or a bad oil. Margarine is an oil that's been destroyed by hydrogen. So margarine, it used to be a good oil, that it got hydrogenated with oil, with gases. All the hands got saturated with poison and makes it solid. That's what margarine is. So is that good to eat? No, it is not. Butter is much better than margarine. If you take it gradually, the best is oil, the second is butter, the worst is margarine. The worst you can eat is margarine. I said that for 25 years. My tapes, if you listen to that one right here, if you can understand my accent in that tape, it will say the same thing as 25 years ago. So that is why we say to try to clean the intestine, we have to do the right thing. drink lots of water, use oil, right protein, trace minerals, antioxidants, and fibers. So what do fibers do when we have big salad with the meal? We should have fibers with each meal. We should have fibers in the morning. We should have fibers with lunch. We should have fibers with dinner. It doesn't have to be cooked vegetables for breakfast. It doesn't have to be a big salad for breakfast, but it can be bran, it can be oats, it can be other kind of fibers. You follow me or not? And lunch should have salad, and dinner should have salad. Salad is very much anti-chemical. It grabs them out of the system. That's what we said when we talked about the fibers right here. When we talked about the oil in Alaska, that is the same thing like fibers. What are the what are the symptoms of cancer of the colon, or the pancreas, or the liver? What are the symptoms? None. When it is a polyp, there is no symptom. The moment you start having symptoms of the stomach like heartburn, you have to be sure that your heartburn is not cancer. You think it's hiatal hernia, you think it's an ulcer, be sure it's not cancer. You understand? I have a patient, happened to be a minority. He's a black man. And if you are a black or a woman or old, you are a minority in medicine. That's a fact. When I work in a hospital, emergency room, when the nurses see somebody coming, if it's a woman or an older person or a black, they get less care than a white man will get. Unfortunately, but you can hear them talking. Here they come again. Here she comes. Here this, and names, you know. They don't get good care. For some reason, I don't know why. This man had a heartburn. And he have a good job. He have a good job. He have a good insurance. But he have HMO. And the HMO did not approve the doctor to look inside to see his heartburn. So just to give him Melox, just do this, just do that. And the upper GI was negative. And then he came to me and said, I have heartburn. I said, the first thing we have to do is to look inside and see what it is. He said, HMO will not pay. I said, I don't care if they pay or not. I'm not treating you until we know. We looked inside. He was close to Mayo Clinic, so I sent him to Mayo Clinic to look inside. They looked, they find cancer. It was too late. It was spread all over. And it took 3 months after that, he died. That is something he had for 2 years heartburn, and it could have been taken care of. So you don't want to wait for symptoms. When you have a symptom about cancer, assume it is. Do not ever assume it isn't. Because if you assume it is, you do something about it. If you assume it isn't, then you are waiting until it is. And then that is a big problem. Most of cancer happens to people over the age of 65. Medicare, until now, pays 100% for diagnostic work for cancer. The government do not, anybody who has Medicare, they pay for cancer detection. They do not hold back. And that because it's a government, they don't have interest, so they let people get cancer care. But private insurances, they do not. They do not, especially HMOs. They do not like to get cancer screening. What are the symptoms of cancer of the colon? None. But if you start having blood, do not assume it's a hemorrhoid. Even if you have a hemorrhoid, be sure it isn't cancer. If you have change in your bowel habits, constipation, diarrhea, assume, for a 3 month, 4 month period, assume it's cancer. Do not assume it isn't cancer. You follow me? Because if you assume it's cancer, you're going to find out it is or it isn't. But if you sleep on it, cancer doesn't disappear. It keeps growing inside. When it grows inside here, it can be cured. But once it spreads to the pancreas and the liver, it's too late. What other cancers? What happened to that person? Right here it is. It was in front of me. What other cancer he could have? This person in front of us. Man or a woman. Let us say cancer of the breast. Right here. Why cancer of the breast? Why the breast fatty lump gets cancer and other fatty lumps do get cancer in the body? There's more fat in the butt than the breast. Why the breast? Think about it for a minute. Because the breast is a gland. The breast is a machine. It's a gland. It is not just fat. It's a gland. It makes what? Milk. To make milk for the baby, it has lots of cells, lots of activities all the time. And the more milk it makes, the more clean it is. The more milk it keeps, the worse it is. You follow me or no? Breast is always going to make milk. Always makes milk. Because even for a man, if a boy squeezes his nipples, keeps squeezing, it will produce milk. It has mammary glands in it. It will not produce lots of it, but will produce some of it. Women have a lot more mammary tissue because she has a hormone, estrogen and progesterone, produces more milk. And milk is from the blood. So this is one problem we noticed with the breast. Women who did not breastfeed a lot have more cancer than women who breastfeed their babies. You follow me? But for years we were told you don't have to breastfeed the babies because the artificial milk is just as good. Now we're finding out that's not true. How about women who have infection after they deliver a baby and they cannot breastfeed? They still can pump the milk out and throw it away rather than keep it inside. Having tenderness with milk is very bad to keep it inside. It has to come out. And that's one way to reduce cancer of the breast in women. There is a problem here. The problem is the breast is lumpy. And how do you know which lump is cancer, which lump is not a cancer? The only way you can find out is as follows. You examine the breast every time you take a shower. Every time you take a shower, look at your body. The part you look at is going to have cancer, either your skin or your breast. So, you have to look at the size and to see if one breast is getting bigger than the other. You have to look at the size. And how do you do that? You have to look at the mirror in front of you and bend down and look straight and let it hang. And you have to watch that the breast has to hang loose, down. If it hangs and the nipple on the side retracted a little bit, pushed aside, it could be some cancer inside pulling it. That's one exam. Another exam, you lay on your back. And the breast will fall backward. And you push down against the bone underneath it. What you're feeling for? Lumps. Any lump. If you feel lump, then have it checked. How would you check that? You check the breast by mammogram, and there is a blood test. There is a blood test I do have. Tumor marker has not been approved yet, but it is quite accurate to predict which breast will have cancer, which breast will not. But it is not 100% accurate. It is about 80% accurate. Mammogram is not 100% either. The most accurate thing, if you have a lump, you have to get it out and check it for cancer. Okay, what other organs here inside should we look at is exposed to chemicals or could have cancer? In men, the prostate, don't forget that. Because here are the statistics about cancer of the prostate for you. A man who's at 50 years of age has 50% chance of having cancer of his prostate. You know, that is very high statistics, isn't it? A man who's 60 years of age has 60% chance of cancer of his prostate. A man who's 80 years of age has 80% chance of cancer of the prostate. And a man who's 100 years of age has 99% chance of having cancer of the prostate. We don't know why. We don't know why. That's the statistic we see right now. Cancer of the prostate develops. The prostate gland looks like this. Behind the penis, the urine is right here, and the bladder is here. And when it starts to swell, it closes the urine flow. So the first thing you're going to notice as a man, the first change to suggest there may be cancer is that you have to wake up at night to urinate. And if that's the case, it should be checked with blood test and ultrasound and even biopsy. Cancer of the prostate, like cancer of the breast, you catch it first. When it happens, 100% curable. You leave it, it is incurable. It will destroy the person. Let me see if there's any cancer I didn't talk about. Cancer of what? Bladder. The bladder, ovary, and uterus, all of these can have cancer. The cancer of the bladder, if you have blood in the urine. Cancer of the kidney, blood in the urine. Cancer of the ovary, pain in this area right here where the ovaries are. Cancer of the uterus, fullness right here. Or you have him bleeding, unnecessarily, it's not from the hormones. Cancer of the brain, headache. Cancer of the sinus, headache. Cancer of the tongue, swelling. Cancer of the mouth, of the gums, a lesion that stays more than a month or two, it doesn't heal. All of this, they give you some. Cancer of the lung, we didn't talk about, I forgot about that. Cancer of the lung. Most of the time it doesn't have symptoms. But cough that lasts about a month or two, you have to be sure it's not cancer of the lung. Cough that produces blood could be cancer of the lung. Pain in the chest when you take a deep breath, not from a cold, but constant for about a month or two. It could be asbestosis or cancer of the pleura lining the lung. We talked about all these cancers, and the last thing I want to talk about, and we have about 10 minutes, is we're going to talk about treatment of cancer. We talked about the prevention of cancer. Now let's talk about how to treat cancer. If you have cancer, it has to be treated with 4 different things. First of all, it has to be treated with surgery if you can reach it. You understand? If I see something in the skin, I'm going to cut it off. If I'm going to see a lump in the breast, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to feel a lump in the prostate, we're going to remove it. We're going to feel polyp, we're going to take it out. Surgery is the easiest way to get rid of cancer. Always. The best way to get rid of cancer out of the body is surgery if you can do it early enough. Usually, it's 99% curable. Once you have cancer, even you have surgery, you can have another cancer. Or if your family have cancer, you could have cancer. So don't forget that when you have one cancer, you can have another cancer. Secondly, treatment for cancer, chemotherapy. Chemotherapy can be used for cancer. Chemotherapy can be used to weaken cancer. Because cancer is already developed. And surgery didn't work. And the cancer is spreading inside the body. And you cannot depend only on this anymore. You follow me? This alone is not going to work. This has to be the way to do it. If there is a cancer that chemotherapy can work, we have to use chemotherapy against it. Like Hodgkin, like lymphoma, like cancer of the liver, if we put the chemotherapy in the liver, not in the bloodstream. Because when they put it in the bloodstream, it kills the whole body. I am for the chemotherapy directly in the organ, directly pumped in the liver only. But chemotherapy doesn't work most of the time. Most of the time, it gives more problems than help. Number 3, radiation. Radiation is excellent in some cancers. Cancer of the breast. After surgery, radiation is excellent. I have not seen a breast cancer yet that we took it out and we radiated, it came back. I never seen it came back in a woman. Never. And every time we did not do radiation, it came back. Every time it came back. When we didn't do it, it came back. We did it, it never came back. So that proves that radiation can be help in some cancers. But only cancer of this or the thyroid or the prostate, but other cancer, it doesn't work. If you use surgery, if you have cancer, use surgery alone, and chemotherapy alone or radiation, and that's it, you will develop new cancers. You will develop another cancer. And you follow me? Because the reason you had developed cancer, something went wrong inside your body. So to try to say, oh, I had cancer, and I did my surgery, I'm cured, you are fooling yourself. You're not cured. You're going to have another cancer. You've got to change your what? Diet. You've got to live different life. And if you don't want to believe that, that's your problem. If your doctor doesn't want to believe that diet is important for you as a cancer patient, that's ignorant in his behalf. Because eating the right protein, the right fat, the right carbohydrate, the right vitamin, enough water, and fibers, it's not going to hurt. It will help that person. Why oncologists tell the person, if you take vitamins, I don't want to see you again? I have no idea. Or when they tell him, I'm taking vitamin C, don't take it. Or don't take vitamin B. All of a sudden, he becomes expert on vitamins. And he doesn't know anything about it himself. Because they're just ignorant about nutrition. Diet plus surgery or chemo or radiation is important. Stress. One of the worst things you can do to a cancer patient as a doctor or a family is to tell somebody when you're going to die. You understand? I have patients, they were sent home to die. We have one in Milwaukee area right here. I saw, I believe 8 months ago or so, it was sent home to die with cancer of the abdomen. The guy said, There's nothing going to work. Take him home and prepare his funeral. When he came to me to see the patient, I find him very malnourished with a cancer. I checked, full of the stomach full of cancer. And all we did is keep giving him vitamins and vitamins, IV and oral, IV and oral, IV and oral, until he put so much weight on, he looked so good, but I feel there is something wrong inside still. Then I asked the doctor, I said, why don't you open him up and find out maybe he have infection or something inside? No, I'm not going to open him. He's full of cancer. If we do, he's going to die. He's the same doctor sent him home to die. And then whenever he sees him, every couple of months sees him, and he looks better, he tell him, you look better, what you doing? And he said, well, I'm taking these vitamins, and he says, it's not going to do any good. Exactly. It's not going to do any good. The guy started bleeding, vomiting blood, having problems, and I feel my job is limited. I'm not a surgeon. I need a surgeon to open him up and release the bowels. Maybe they strangulated, maybe have infection. And sure enough, he went to the hospital, but rather than doing surgery, they give him chemotherapy. Well, when he was sent home 8 months ago, they said chemotherapy is not going to work. All of a sudden, when I make him look good, they give chemotherapy because he looked good. He got very sick. He started vomiting and got very sick from the chemotherapy. Then finally, they opened up. They thought all the cancer is gone. But what was left was fibers twisting the bowels. But the nutrition was taken out of his program. He's going downhill, not from the cancer, from something else, infection or something. So it is important for a cancer patient that I tell him, you know, anybody tells you when you're going to die, he doesn't know. Because I tell him, I might die before you. You might outlive me. Who knows? Who's going to live, who's going to... I didn't create you, I'm not going to take you. But you have to give him hope. Hope is very important for a cancer patient. Because with hope, the antibodies is produced. You know what antibodies? The thing that fights what? Infection and cancer. The interferon is produced with hope. You know what interferon fights what? Fights cancer also. The protein that fights cancer also goes up when somebody have hope. Like I can take a patient without hope, check his blood. When I give him just hope, his antibody level is already triple what it was the day before. I measure it. In a week, it's tripled. But I can't keep depending on hope alone. Because in a week or two, the hope will be gone. When he sees himself going downhill, he'll have no hope. So we give him the diet, good with it, with the hope. So when you see somebody of your relatives, or yourself, or anybody who have cancer, always think that he is going to be cured. You follow me? Never think he's dying. Never. I know some of you said, I need to be prepared, I need to do that. Be prepared on your own. Maybe for yourself, not for him. If you be preparing a grave for him, maybe that's the grave you're going to be in it yourself before him. So be prepared for a cure. Be prepared for positives, not negatives. Not sitting all day on the phone. Did he die yet? What are we going to do? How much money he had? What did the will say? And all of this garbage, because he doesn't want to hear that. I remember when that man specifically, when I saw him, I prayed. I said, God, please help me with this man. This needs your help. That needs your help right away. And then I worked with him a whole 2 months, no results. Nothing. I keep pumping him with vitamin. I don't see any results. I keep changing the formula, changing until I got the right formula. It worked with him, and he starts seeing him good right away. I remember when he said, all I want before I die to have a Thanksgiving dinner with my family, with their grandchildren. And I worked so hard before Thanksgiving, tell you. I didn't cook turkey, but I gave him lots of turkeys in the IVs, lots of nutrients. And just to give you an idea, he wasn't even able to eat. He couldn't eat because cancer was blocking everything. He had the first turkey dinner, first food in so long to enjoy it with the family. And then after that, he became greedy. He said, I want to have Christmas with the family. And now we're talking about more. And he spent it with the family, and now he's cured from cancer. So hope is very, very important for all of us. One thing to give hope to cancer patients is the environment itself has to be cheerful. They have to go places. They have to travel. They have to see. They cannot be sitting home thinking about dying. Praying, meditation is good. Exercise is good. Good night's sleep for a cancer patient is good because cancer patients don't sleep good. All night they're awake thinking about dying. So many times I have to give him a sleeping pill to knock him out for 8-10 hours so he doesn't think about dying. That's the first thing I did with that man, actually. The first thing I did, I gave him a tranquilizer. That's the first thing I did. When I tranquilized him, it seems like he changed 180 degrees. So you have to appreciate the role of stress. So when you are a cancer patient or you go to among other cancer patients, be around the people who are positive. Don't go to another cancer patient who have the same cancer and you see him dying in front of you. You know, be in an environment that is cheerful. The last thing you want to do for a cancer is chemical. You cannot consume chemicals. Air. You should have good air at home. You should have air purifier. Maybe you have asbestos. Maybe the formaldehyde in the carpet is making the cancer grow faster. Maybe the wall insulation, something in it causes more cancer. Maybe the air coming from the furnace has something in it making your body sicker. You follow me? So you have to think about detoxifying the air and having more oxygen in it. The food. We have to watch canned food. We have to watch chemicals in the food for a cancer patient, especially things that are known to cause cancer. And water. Put a water filter in your house. Shaklee have the best water filter I've seen in the market. Put a water filter for the whole house, not just for cooking and for that. Put a filter to filter the whole house so when you take a shower, the chemicals that are coming in the pipe do not go in your skin and causes problems. By using this method here, check cancer diagnosis. This is the biggest problem here, diagnosis, because the reason I'm successful with cancer, because every single patient I saw, I detected the cancer early enough. Secondly, if you have it, you have to be treated all these methods. Okay, let me think if I forgot anything. I don't think I did. I'm going to take some questions. But before I do that, I'm going to give you my phone number. If you want to call me for a question, this is my phone number in Lake Villa. The address is 213 South Milwaukee Avenue in Lake Villa, Illinois, 60046. Okay. If you have a question, you can call me and leave a message. I will call you back. You have to leave the time I should call you so I can get to you in the right time. Secondly, if you write a letter, if you prefer doing that, write it, but leave your phone number so I can call you because I'm not going to write you back. I'm going to call you back. Now, I'm going to take some questions. To be fair, I'm going to start from the front to the back. Yes, ma'am.
My sister has cancer and is currently undergoing chemotherapy. And she is concerned about if she can take
The question is, her sister have cancer, and if she's going on chemotherapy, and she wonders if she can take Herblax and Formula 1. Yes, she can take Formula 1, but 1 tablet a day, 1 capsule is enough because the folic acid in it. But she needs the Formula 1 because the trace mineral is what's going to build the antibodies to fight cancer. And Herblax is no problem. She can take any amount. There is no problem with that. Yes.
And antibiotics being free radicals. What about people that have allergies to antibiotics?
The question is, I said that people have allergies, more prone to have cancer. How about the people allergic to antibiotics? No. Everybody is allergic to antibiotics. Everybody is. Just some more allergies than others. There is no antibiotic is good for us. And the one who's their body weaker will have more allergies. I do think that people who have more allergy to antibiotics more, their immune system is less developed than the ones who do not have allergy. Yes?
What do you use for diverticulitis?
Diverticulitis. Diverticulitis, I use fibers. Lots of fibers. Other questions? Yes.
What about
Polyps, take it out. Remove it.
Is there anything to prevent them?
That's what we said right here. Yeah, all this is going to prevent it because the fibers themselves were not going to let the chemical to sit 24 hours to cause irritation and causes polyps. Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay, I said butter is better than margarine. What oils are better than each other? Well, all oils are alike except the motor oil or mineral oil or, all that. But some of them will have other things in it. Like olive oil will have more vitamin E, but also has a flavor you cannot use in cooking. Other oils will have more strong flavor than others, so you have to watch it because if you cook something with a bad smell to it or a taste, nobody's going to eat it. So I think olive oil and salads are excellent. But I'm biased because I have an olive farm in Egypt. My farm, we have a we produce lots of olive oil. My family does. I came last week. We just planted 1,500 acres with olives, So I'm partial to that. But other oils are good. The corn oil is good. The soybean oil is good. And coconut oil is not good, of course, because it has saturated fat. Well, in general, all oils, vegetable oils, are good to take. Some of them better than others, but the soya oil, the corn oil, they are good. The sesame oil, the olive oil are also good. Just eat all the oil you want. You're going to find yourself healthier. Okay, yes?
Does it matter if the oils are cold pressed?
Is it cold pressed? Yes. Cold pressed oil, definitely, much better than a heated oil. Because when you heat it, you destroy the antioxidant bonds in it. So cold pressed is better. Yes, ma'am. You have well, you said? Fluoride, I don't approve it. Okay. However, I'm not a dentist. The dentists tell us that when they use more fluoride, there's less cavities. I never use fluoride. I have no cavities. So I believe the best way to prevent cavities are eating less sugars, more fibers, and having supplements. That is the way to prevent it, personally. However, I tended to listen to my dentist when he said to me, I'm going to use fluoride in your teeth. I don't tell him what to do. I tell him, whatever you want to do, that's fine. I tended to believe my specialists, whatever they want to do something, I'll let them do it. So it is not a big deal. But if my dentist or my children tell them you're going to have this toothpaste with fluoride, I will tell them, go ahead, listen to him. Because I'm not their dentist. You follow me? We don't have enough information on fluoride. We know that it has some toxicity to it, but we know that cavities also have problems. so I'm not going to really be specific about that question. Yes, ma'am. Formula 1 is not antioxidant. It is not anti-free radical. No, they're just a trace mineral. If you study the lecture we had about the immune system, when I give the lecture on the immune system here, I said we're going to talk about immune system in 2 lectures. What's the immune system, how it works, and cancer, another lecture. This is the number 2 in 2 lectures. So in the previous lecture, we talked about how minerals, trace minerals, help enzymes that breaks down things or makes antibodies. So that is how trace minerals work. Trace minerals are wonderful for the body. If you take too much of it, it will kill you. If you have less of it, you will have disaster. It's one of the things that has to be monitored closer. This is why when we give 1 capsule, 2, 3, 4 maximum. We don't do like vitamin C, take 20, 30 a day. Because we have to be specific when it comes to Formula 1. Yes, ma'am, in the back there. I don't think